I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then
So
you know, especially during this holiday season, we've got to be putting the messages out there like, a gift for yourself, for your business is to get involved in networking now. Don't put it off. Don't
okay,
wait. Let's
and that is,
get it done.
I'm walking outside. Sorry, I'm going to get in the car. It's probably going to jump from my car to my phone, or my phone to my car. But I think that's a great idea. Definitely a good idea. There was something you just said. Oh, so we have been talking though about trying to come up with like keywords and stuff that would put that, the keywords that you want to have in for SEO stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So obviously people go to a Google search or something, and they're going to put in there something about, you know, networking, and refer. Now, I would like to believe that a networking organization is something. I mean, I think we are, but I mean, networking. What does networking really mean? You know what I mean? It's kind
Yep.
of a stupid question, but if people are just coming for referrals, which I think there are a lot of people who want referrals, but they don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
Networking is not necessarily referrals.
It's not. And I really like that, or something that we can really utilize all the time and more often than we do.
Say it again. Say it again. Dawn, say it again. I'm sorry. You were connecting to my car. What were you
Okay.
saying?
Something that we really need to utilize and say more often than we probably do is all about, the naming of our organization, to the rescue, and what that rescue stands for. And remind people that the R in rescue is about relationships, not about referrals. Referrals are a part of the networking process, but our focus is on relationships. That's what that R in rescue is about. And all of those other words in the acronym of rescue that we utilize as um, our our targets, our key, what we focus on in our organization, all of those words need to be in the SEO because all of those things are important. And
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and go through the relationships, the E for education. And just like I said, we're a teaching and sharing organization. We don't expect everybody to come in knowing it all already. It's part of the growth process. So whether you're a mature business or whether you're a new business, you can glean value. The success strategies, of course, it's unique. Every individual has their own unique success strategies. So just being a part of the conversation gives value because you're bound to hear something new that you haven't heard before. The community,
Right.
that everybody should thrive, not just survive. And we're all about helping each other, and the communities that we're in. We want to give something positive, to be a positive force in our own industry and in our communities. The understanding, we don't just get on the call to shoot our elevator pitch. We're learning and listening and understanding each other and what everybody else is looking for so that we can be better connectors. And then the execution part, shoot, for all of the stuff that we talk about all the time, then we encourage everybody to get out there and just do it. Sometimes do it scared, like me when I launched
Right.
my blog.
Right.
Turning our dreams into reality. And we got to talk about that stuff, much more often, to make sure that people understand we're not just getting together for a social visit once a week, and we're not just routinely repeating the same elevator pitch that everybody's heard before, but each week there are golden nuggets to share. There are the success strategies to be gleaned. There's ideas that that are new and different, and folks need to show up and be a part of it. Okay, down off my. I'm done with that.
Well, no, I actually, no, I mean, oh shoot, guys, sorry, I thought I lost you. No, I think, I mean, I'm glad that you feel those, because right now, you know, I'm basically trying to really zero in on the mission statement, and I have them, what we've used, but I'm not certain that they are completely, you know, I don't want us to be just a place where people get to, I don't mean to sound like that. I don't want to be just a B&I, and I don't mean to say B&I is bad, because B&I is good. But I feel like we're so much more. What did Angie say today? She said both of her groups are all about, because they were talking about what they did at their meeting, the manifesting thing.
Yeah.
And she said it's all about learning and growing or something. And you know, I guess that's, I want people to come to us that are ready to step up their game a little bit. You know, they're not just coming because they want to get a bunch. You guys, you've already said that, Don. I'm just, so that's where I'm, yes, all of those words that are part of the rescue should be, I believe they should be. That's a great thing about the SEO. That's a great idea. The words that a lot of the words kind of cross over that people are giving, you know, like communication, community. You said support today, supportive.
Yep.
But if you all think, what are those all getting on one call and making a decision about the group? You know what I mean? It's, or you know what I mean? I mean, not making a decision. They don't, you're not going to get, now you might get on one of these calls and be very, you know, laugh a little because it's funny. Somebody says something funny, or, you know, I act stupid or whatever. I mean, those are all, you know, that might be friendly, but, you know, friendly itself is not going to happen, or not enough to,
Yeah, it's not
I don't know.
sustainable by itself. It's
No. So, and yeah, so everything I'm thinking, so when I'm, so as I'm thinking, so that's why I don't want to do a new website yet, because I want to feel like we've got it just pinpointed exactly, because I don't want to, even though we might have so many groups and we want to get new people, I don't want just any Joe Schmo to jump on our calls. And, you know, it's one reason we've been a little picky about where we put the information. But, you know, I mean, the Fisher's Favorites group today, I had sent a lady who wrote a book probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. Good friend of mine who wrote a book, and she's a lovely person. I say that all the time, lovely, but she really is. And today they were telling me she was a total fruitcake that I sent to her group, and I'm like, oh, but I didn't send her to become a member. She wasn't, that's not her thing. Her thing was, the book was, it doesn't matter. The book was very interesting, and I thought that, you know, based on what my friend who wrote the book, she told me that they had a great meeting. Well, these ladies were telling me, oh, why did you send her to the thing? And I'm like, well, if you didn't enjoy it, why did you guys ask her questions? You know, why did you do all this? But anyway, what I want to avoid is sending the wrong people to the meetings. You know what I mean? I mean, and I don't know that anybody we can tell. I try to do kind of an interview, or if our material is out there, I want somebody who says, oh, you know, like this morning, one of the words was accountability.
Yep.
the group, and I don't know if I mentioned that today on the call, but accountability. Well, okay, accountability to me and to you ladies is not a bad thing, right?
Right.
Somebody else who's just wanting to make sales is going to say, well, what's this account? They might just say that could rub them the wrong way. That could be almost well, why do I have to be accountable to them? You know what I mean? It's just kind of how you're viewing it. And I think if we get those right words, but accountability, I want people to be on these calls who are willing to be accountable. You
Mhm.
know, I don't know. I'm not arguing or I'm not disagreeing with anything you said at all. I think I said that to you, both of you, maybe at one time. I had it's actually a family member who is an executive coach. I think when I was first talking about doing the TTR, the To the Rescue, and this has been a few years ago, she said, well, that sounds like a terrible name. She goes, no business person wants to think they're being rescued. I'm like, why not? I mean, we all are looking for something, to hang on to something. Why, that's kind of anyway, I don't know what you ladies think about that, but when you said that, Dawn, I don't think you were saying it was a bad name.
No, not at all. I've
Okay.
always liked it. I like that the little rescue dinghy was a part of the logo. And networking is about going beyond yourself and your business. And um, you put yourself out there, and some situations work out and some situations don't. Some relationships flourish, and others you recognize that, okay, this is not for me. And you know that's what it's about. I don't think that you could ever recommend a bad person to visit our group, because the visiting is all about finding out more.
Right. You're right. That's true. That's true.
So unless they are just a total hacker who had no intention of actually, genuinely interacting with us on a business level, then there is no bad person that you could recommend to us. We're going to learn something from that interaction that we can put in our toolbox, that we're going to be able to discern, is this somebody that we can trust and share referrals with, or do we want to learn more about their business? And I think all of that is good. I think that's part of why as a group we interact with each other, so that we can grow and learn.
So maybe it's not as much me. I guess I'm not as much me interviewing and recommending the wrong people. I do want our marketing to be attracting the right people.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that, um, even if I would love to cast this really big net and try to capture everybody that could ever want to network, reality is that not everybody's wanting the same thing in a network. So we do have, that's why I was asking about words.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because every group you get on, every group is a little different. I mean, you were in a couple different groups. That there's, and I know Nancy, you've been in that boat too. As far as that boat, we're all coming from our own experience. But anyway, I want to make sure as we market and we go into 2023 that we really, because we are a networking group.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look up the definition of networking, it's sharing resources, sharing those things. It doesn't say instantaneous instantaneous sharing of whatever. It doesn't say that. Referrals come, but I don't want us to be called a referral group.
I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want people to get the idea, oh, I'm going to go on that call and there's 10 people on that call and they're all going to give me referrals. No, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, if that all makes sense, I guess networking is one of those SEO words for sure.
Yeah.
Here's a question. You're trying to find people to network. They don't even know that's what they need to do for their business.
Right. Right. Well, so, I mean, what is your thought there, Nancy? Just, they don't know. So what are we, when we go out and, or when we're trying to market, so what should we be, I mean, we're kind of like asking on most, like the marketing says something about, you know, I don't know what it says right now. It says something, connect with us and thrive and, you know, what I think it says thrive or something, or connecting with us. I don't remember what that homepage. What is your thought, Nancy? I guess. So what are you thinking? We need.
I'm just not, I mean, you're saying they need to network. They don't even know they need to network.
Right.
And they're not gonna go into a meeting and sell a policy to everybody in the building. And I won't even mention, why don't you send the book author our way? Come on.
Oh, she's a fruitcake. No, she's not a fruitcake. She doesn't. I mean, no. More of a fruitcake than you ladies. I'm just joking. She actually wanted to meet groups in person, and she wasn't real thrilled about any of the groups that were meeting on Zoom. And I was kind of like, well, I think you can still sell, you know, you could still, because she has books, you know, you could still promote your book. I don't know why she wouldn't, but she found out one of the groups that she was scheduled to talk to, she canceled just because it was on Zoom. She didn't want to do that. So, and then the evening is always tough. But you know what, Nancy? The networking, I think what we're trying to do on the, and I'm not sitting at my computer so I could look, but the idea is we're trying to ask questions to get people to realize they need to network. I mean, if people go out on a Google search, what are they putting in if they're not putting in networking? I mean, isn't that, I mean, what do you, I mean, trying to think of other words besides networking, I guess is what my question is. Or how would we, because if they don't even know they need to network, how do we capture their attention to make them realize or help them realize that they need to network?
Here's,
you know what I mean?
You know, I'm kind of thinking like, I wasn't looking for a networking group when I met you, Jennifer.
I know, I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy like that.
But the more I talked to you and found out what it was, what you were doing, what your groups were doing, I felt compelled to come check it out. I had been to other networking groups previously and hadn't really felt, you know, that connection affinity to continue as I easily did with TTR. So I want to say we probably should be telling, like the lady who isn't fond of Zoom calls, because whatever that's in her head, she's thinking that's not the most effective way for her to make connections. Perhaps she's used to doing in person. So, you know, from my perspective, collaborating connections, hey, we've got the Facebook page that people are connecting to who aren't even members. And if they come visit with us, you know, I'm compelled to put a little blurb or something out there specifically about them and their business. So, you know, it's not just this Zoom call connection. It's finding ways to get your brand out there that is beyond this Zoom call, to get people talking about it, to meet some people in some circles that you've not been connected with
Right. Good
previously.
point. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe, the questions that we're posting on social media is not, are you looking for networking, but are you looking to expand your connections? Are you looking
Right.
to get connected with circles that you haven't even considered to be a possible
Right.
market
Right.
target? Are you looking to meet some new and awesome people that you generally feel too busy to pursue
Right.
on your own?
Right.
And just throw out some ideas that might catch somebody's eyes and to consider, hey,
Right.
there is something else, something new or something different that can help me expand my business, my contacts, my branding. Maybe I should check it out. Maybe I should ask more questions. Maybe, whatever.
Right. Well, actually, that's a good point, though, Nancy. I've looked at a lot of different, Dawn, that's a good point, but I'm bringing it back to Nancy because she's the one who said it. But yeah, and I got to look back at our page, see, because I mean, there are questions. I know that there's, that you can go, and I know there's a couple of resources for quizzes, like where you can, and you can create your own quiz, but I know there's some that are already out there where you literally, I think if you look at some of the most effective, well, some of the effective websites that I've been on or whatever, or maybe a landing page or something says, take this 5-minute quiz and find out if you're supposed to be doing this or this or this, and there are things we could do like that. So are you trying to expand your circles, or your, those kind of things that you were just saying? So I don't know that on the webpage we only use the word networking. I think we do ask some questions that would kind of qualify them, or or at least make them. I'd have to look at it. We're not. I mean, we're almost home, but I just, these words that you guys are sharing, though, the fun, supportive, what was the other word you did? And the words of rescue or the analogy there. I mean, all of that is good stuff to. But I guess what I want to do is I want to avoid the people that just don't get that this is a, it's more than a, because Michael, man, very nice guy, just, but he just didn't understand. Well, I guess I'm not really sure what a networking group like that would do for me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we got to go back to square one here. I don't think,
yeah,
but I
let's
know.
answer those questions then for those who don't know.
Right. True.
Let's
and you know what, Nancy? Yeah, and Nancy was the one. I mean, didn't you say he had pharmaceutical? No. He was medical devices. So it was probably never real big. I don't know if he had to go find his own people.
Nope, he just keep
yeah. And so the idea, and I really did try to, well, you get to know these people and they get to know you, and but
You know what? He would be a good person. You put on your calendar, you call in a year, and he'll be in the same spot. You want to bet? If he's
probably.
still in the same position, which he might not even be there at that point, but it will be, he will not have grown any. He would not have learned.
Right.
Because he's just looking to get people in there to interview and do whatever they want to do with. That's all he's there for. Because
so Mike, I guess he's probably got so many, quota or something, probably, right?
And it could be his own quota, but he's got
right.
some number he's trying to get to.
Yeah.
And
he's a very nice guy. And I know, I told him he should come back and visit again. But what's really hard with a financial person like that? And I told Nancy, I think last week, I think I said something about I sat with them, or I was on the phone, a Zoom call with them. And no, no, I'm sorry, just a regular phone call. But he then, after talking about an hour, I thought, oh, he's really curious about TTR and all this. Well, when can we sit down and talk about your financial planning? Well, and I'm thinking, of course, that is part of what he wants to do. I get that. But it was kind of like, I just don't think he quite understood the whole, and he's I can do this business because I believe in this. I'm not saying he doesn't, but then he kind of cheapened it by saying, when can we sit down and do yours? Damn, why'd you have to ruin it? I mean, why? We were having this good conversation. You know what I mean? I think he could have done it. I don't know.
Do you ever have anything advertised that you're going to meet people, they are not going to buy your product, but they know someone that needs your product?
I've always loved that from you, Nancy. I've always loved that.
Those are not your clients. They just know your next client.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That should be another one of those kind of canned comments that a leader introduces TTR networking with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's another one. This group itself, we're not business to business within the group, but we know, that
Mm-hmm.
that next member knows people who can be your next client. So it's worthwhile to cultivate that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's worthwhile to get to know them and build the trust. It's worthwhile to understand their business, and have them understand yours. And that comes from a commitment to build the relationship and be present and share. It doesn't come from just showing up and regurgitating an elevator pitch. It doesn't come from just that.
You get to know the person, so you know what they're looking for in that next person. And when you meet them, you can connect the two and move on.
Right. So it does happen that occasionally, I mean, people need to be realistic. Occasionally you're going to find out you don't like people,
honestly, the longer you get to know people, you usually can get over that initial, oh, I don't like that person. I mean, if you hang in there,
sometimes it's because you don't have that full understanding that you need yet.
Right. Yep.
To make a good connection for them.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you do identify there may be something that we're not connecting, but that's okay, and discern that and then be able to move on to what you need in a business and the people that you can help. That's all. Don't think of it as a pothole that you fall into and that you can't get around. Not every relationship is perfect for you, but you cultivate and you focus on those relationships that are going to work out. And each relationship that does work out kind of teaches you a little bit something about who your target, who your sweet core is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just while you're saying that, we lost a couple ladies during the pandemic because and I was thinking about each of those ladies have been around for a while. And I mean, you guys saying that sometimes, you get over that, kind of, because you realize, or the person even understands better. And they then kind of fit into they get it better, but these two ladies had already, they'd been around long enough. Both of them were very lovely. I say lovely all the time, very nice ladies, but that was when it became weird, because some of the stuff they were doing, and it's all, politically motivated kind of stuff. Now, that does not mean that we disagree. That's not why, but what they were doing was the people in the groups couldn't work with them because of some of the stuff that they were putting out on social media. That's just a regular thing. Everybody's got social media stuff out there. I mean, you know, we all are dealing with that every day. But if
Yeah.
you're going to put stuff out there that is, you know, literally makes people cringe or like whatever, you've got to be prepared. You know, if you're going to put something political out there, you need to be prepared that that could create a lot of uncomfortable people, and their stuff was not very nice. But anyway, I'm just thinking, as if we're talking about people visiting and, you know, maybe not fitting in or whatever, and really the ones that the ones that this has happened to are ones who've been around long enough, and then they just kind of went off the deep end and did some weird things. But you know, if people don't really like what we're doing, they figure it out pretty quickly and they leave.
Yeah.
You know, or they kind of weed themselves out. So, but you guys, that is, thank you, Nancy, for reminding me that other thing, because I think a lot of people do look at other people in the groups and think, well, you know, why would, you know, looking at one of the the members, they're not going to need my services. Well, but they know what, 1,000 people, maybe more, you know,
Right.
in some cases, those of us. Yeah. So that's a good point. They know. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to write that down. I am actually going to go ahead. Go ahead.
The other question I asked, do you ever have people that are just starting out, or even if they're doing network marketing of some type, their own company, you ever get them on the phone to talk to? I mean, the Mary Kays.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what? If you're professional, if you've got that professional thing, you know what that is. And it usually, I mean, we've got a guy that's working with Local IQ in our Northside group, who's a young dude, who's been a member of our Northside group for a while. And, you know, the reason I'm bringing him up is he's young, but he's very professional. There are those who are young, who don't know, who have no clue, and they come in and they don't understand it at all. Yes, we do have people like that. What I love is like Dion, who is literally, she's experienced enough where she knows what worked, but she kind of was looking for a refresher course. So we did the Ignite program. Anyway, but that's the ones I really like. You know, I really enjoy that. I do enjoy the people who come in with a completely clean slate, or, you know, a blank page. The people, there are people who, you know, you meet them all the time. We've had people who've reached out to me who said, I need to sell so many t-shirts. You know, I need it, whatever. I've got this, you know, I got to sell. And I'm like, okay, t-shirts. All right. But, you know, excuse me, now I'm getting hiccups. But, you know, they have nothing. There's nothing. It's just they want to sell these t-shirts. You know, I mean, and it's kind of like, okay, why are we going to help you sell these t-shirts? I mean, is there something that's a more of motivate? Might be that they just need the money. And if that's the case, I guess they would need to be able, you know, I still would like to know they're coming in to build relationships with people before they try to sell their t-shirts. You know what I mean? But they're not doing that. And usually I can tell, and I've invited people to our groups, and I said, just go in with an open mind. They're not going to necessarily buy from you the day they meet you. And then most of those people don't even ever show up because it's not worth their while to I've had people do that. You know, I've given them all the information and they've ended up not coming anyway because I set it up to be too much work, I think, you know, but it's reality. This isn't easy, right?
Right. There are parts that aren't easy, but there are other things that are pretty easy, that are pretty, it just makes sense kind of understanding once you hear and, you know, think about it. So it just makes sense that networking is a mutually beneficial endeavor. So
Right.
people should not pursue it if they are just one-sided and not
Good point.
willing to contribute and give and participate. And you know, it just doesn't work out that way. It just makes sense that it doesn't work out that way. So
I like the mutually beneficial. I like that. I mean, that's a good point.
you know,
And yeah, not using the word networking without giving some attention grabbing questions, those kind of things. I think those are the, and I don't want it to sound like we've had so many terrible people visit our groups that, we're trying to avoid, but I have continued to look for other words. What are we really? We are, and I don't know, I know a number of years ago, if you'd said mastermind, I was in some groups, people would say mastermind and they would kind of like, oh, that awful word. And I'm like, why is that an awful word? I would think that's a great word. Mastermind really means you're kind of summoning the master as well as mastering, the masters of the, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be creepy. I'm just saying it's the whole, it's the, mastering together, I guess, the
exactly.
whatever.
When you think about the word, the mind and the mindset is all of us are subject matter experts in our industry. That's what we should be endeavoring. That's what we should own, especially when you've been in the business now for a while and you've been doing it. Feel free to ring your own bell. Yes, you are a master at it. Yes, you are an expert at it. And be proud to talk about it and share and encourage others with what you have learned and struggled through and contribute those ways. That's
and when you are doing that, it changes the tone in your whole presentation because you are a master and you like what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't like what they do, working those 9 to 5 hours.
Yes. And I guess that's the other part of, I keep thinking, some of the people I've seen struggle the most are the ones who are not necessarily doing, or they're not in our network promoting what they really truly want to do. They're trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can be a master and you can be, I mean, that's a good way to put it, ladies, but you could be a master and work for another company. I mean, you could be an independent agent, but working for Anthem or whatever. I'm just saying, maybe that's not a good example, but you can be an entrepreneurial kind of person, building your own business under that umbrella, and you can really, really love it. But there are a lot of times, and it was me. I mean, it was me, Nancy. I didn't like any of the insurance stuff. And I know I talk about it all the time. I wasn't going to be good at that. I was never going to, I think I figured out once I started networking and building those relationships, I could have probably done pretty dang good at it. But I don't think I ever would have, because I knew there were other things I want. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But that is I think you ladies don't think mastermind is a bad word then?
Okay. I love it. Like I said, I think if people embrace it and take ownership of it, it'll elevate them in their business.
You guys, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to, because I know it's only the three of us, but that is one of those things, though. I mean, it's getting really clear on our, in our mission statements currently, we actually use the word referrals. We don't use networking at all. We don't use, masterminding at all. We don't, so I'm going to look at that because I think those words are more important to me than the referral. word is. That's going to happen. But, you know, that could happen when you go to your church group or you go to an Alcoholics Anonymous. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Those are the byproducts of any of those things as you get to know people. I want people to come in with the right attitude or they are the mindset, you know, I'm here to work together with these great people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm thinking out loud, but
They don't know they have to do that though. You have to,
right.
because they have they're looking for the next sale. They're not looking for the next relationship. So you've got to try to, and I don't even know how you tell people.
Right. So, but how do you, okay, so you two ladies are good examples. I mean, you are avatars for this type of a network. You know, I think and I'm not trying to put the pressure on. If you were thinking of leaving tomorrow, I'm sorry, don't leave yet.
Oh, by the way,
few days. but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So somebody like, I always think of Erica Flores, even though Erica right now, her group kind of dissolved, but I think of her as being because she understands, as well as you two do, understands that even though she is extremely busy during this time of year right now, Nancy, right here, you're on this call, she understands that she has to make networking a priority. But so even that first, I'm not going to tell somebody who's brand new. We've had some financial advisors who literally started with us the day they got their license or the day after, and then they were with us like 3 months or something, and they discovered they don't like it, and then they go on to some other job, but they have at least invested, you know what I mean? They've changed industries. They're now doing something different. And I don't think that's necessarily like we soured them on financial, but I think they were realistic. You know, they applied the time, they tried to be part of it, and they figured out it didn't work for them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever be the reason, but okay. So I'm just saying, I think the best, it's a woman who's in her mid, you know, maybe 40-ish, 50-ish, whatever. I'm just saying, in that area that's been around a little bit, understands that this is not an overnight thing, you know, all that kind of stuff. But if we find younger people, or we find somebody who's brand new, that's why I started the Ignite thing, because there's just a lot of people who don't have a clue that they even need this. So Michael Mann would be a good, if you could ever get him to, you know, an Ignite would be a great thing. He would probably, the program content would probably be like, for him, he'd probably say, oh, well, that's a good point. I never thought of that. I'm sure he doesn't, because he's been fed his business and now he's just looking at, you know, I'm sure they're probably just saying what he has to do, so many presentations, and whether they turn into customers or not, you're at least doing it, and you're shooting. Because when I was at AAA, we had a couple agents all over we had like 13, 14 agents throughout the state of Indiana. The guy up in Anderson, who was a good friend of mine, we're still in connection, but he really didn't give a crap about, he didn't care about the relationships. He just had a tally thing where he was doing, I have to do 100 of these every week or whatever it was back then. I don't even remember. But he then moved on to a state farm agency, and he tried to hire me to be kind of his Indianapolis rep. It didn't work out, obviously, but it was flattering. He said, "You're a lot better with people than I am." He goes, "I'm just about numbers." He said, "I know that if I talk to just so many people, eventually I'm going to get, you know, the numbers are going to fall in place." But anyway, it was kind of interesting that he was, you know, but anyway, so I don't know that I would, I guess thinking women are better than most men. The
No,
men we have,
I would think the age you want the 40-ish people. The 40-ish have lived their life.
right,
They then settle down, they're raising children, and they hate their jobs.
right, right.
In essence,
Or
they've gotten more practical but see, I'm not sure if the 40-year-olds this year are the that middle generation. They're not the millennials and they're not the baby boomers. When the millennials get older, it might go the other direction.
do you think at this point, though, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know if they hate their job, maybe they like their job, or maybe they're trying to side hustle, or they're doing something they need something, and they can't do it alone because they've only got so many hours in the day. So in that respect, your group would be perfect. You know what I mean? Because that would be that evening. So we need to be, yeah, that's a good point. That's a great way to look at it.
Meaning those ones that have just started with the Mary Kay or whatever other networking that's out there. I don't know what else is out there. Pampered Chef.
Or
right.
Or even like the Paulines who have a day job but
Right.
are pursuing their passion and turning
Yes.
it into their own business where they get to be the boss and make the rules, and they need some help in navigating that path.
How do you find
That's
more Paulines?
Right. Well, I do think that we don't have in our marketing right now much about people doing like a side hustle, or are you know what I mean? Or I don't know if we'd want to call it, maybe it could be, but like pursuing her passion, that was a good one. That's a great, so those are good things because when we started this whole thing, we were a shoot off of Gold Star, stuff like that. I mean, a side hustle or talking about, something like that. That's kind of a no-no almost. You know what I mean? Not that people aren't doing it, but you were supposed to be working in your job full time to even be in these groups.
Right.
So the idea that, that somebody would be, would be out there, doing this as a second, your thing that you're trying to promote or network for is your second job, or your hobby that you're trying to turn into a full. That was kind of like, you didn't, they would literally, in BNI, they check on you to see, are you, and have you been doing it for 2 years? I think is if somebody has not done it for 2 years or something, I think that's a declination almost. I don't know. I shouldn't say that for sure. But so, I mean, we haven't really gone that way because we weren't really, that really wasn't out there. Now it is even more with the pandemic and everything. That is even more of a marketing angle, I guess we could use.
I know, I run into
point.
more people with more than one job these days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how many of, yeah. So how many people, when they're saying, you kind of, I mean, I know many people, but they're not necessarily going to admit it unless it's, it's already accepted. You know what I mean? If they feel welcomed because they want to do, you're trying to, I mean, that was, I'm thinking out loud, but the idea, that's a great idea.
It takes us, considering those types of individuals and what is going to reach them. When we say, if we had a marketing campaign that was like, look, we know you're already busy, but this can help.
Yeah.
We're here to help. We know that you're already busy. We know that you're already stressed out or frustrated managing 2 jobs or more and still living a life with a family and whatever else going on, but this can help.
I like that. That's a good thing too. That's good. I mean, there were so many things, ladies, that if I was trying not to offend our members. I was also trying not to, you know what I mean? I didn't want them to think that we would be, we would be any different than a BNI or a Gold Star. The only thing we'd be different, we'd be more laid back, but we would have the same, you know, but now I don't think we need, I mean, we've never had to. I just always felt like we did. Now I feel like, you know, it's our 23 is going to be our, you know, we're going to shine. We're going to create our own, I don't think we're all in it. All these groups are in different places. I don't have to compete with them. We are getting noted. We are getting noticed by other groups and stuff, and that's nice. But I want us to be true to what we really are. I don't want people to be, you know, I already said that all.
Your average member in your other clubs, are they doing their full-time job?
Most of them, yes. Yeah. And if they're not, they don't talk about their full-time too much. You guys have been kind of the exception, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I like I said, it's kind of evolved. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, that's a evening group for those that aren't available during the day. And they're, you know, most of them are trying to make their full-time, their, you know, their side hustle or whatever, their full-time. But yeah, the other ones are typically doing that. But this, you know, if you guys know Gary Tedrow, I'm sorry, did I miss something you said?
Mm-mm.
Gary Tedrow's all about, you know, referrals, and I'm not saying we aren't all wanting referrals, but he is. Why was I bringing up him? I've always felt like, although he paid a coach for years, a business coach, and I'm like, that's what we're really doing for each other without paying the fancy amount of money. You know, we all are here to help coach or what's the word, mastermind with each other. I mean, you know, we just can't do it on our own, right? So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm babbling, but I know you probably had a plan, Dawn. So if you have a plan, I might jump out of my car and see if I'll lose you. I don't think I'll lose you. You may not be able to hear me for a minute, but I'm going to go inside. But all of this stuff is really very helpful. Very helpful. I think it's just being really clear.
It's important. And, you know, TTR Networking has really done a lot for me in a lot of aspects. And thank
you.
I continue to support it and look forward to, you know, the growth and innovation going forward.
Thank you.
I'm at a place where, you know, I am developing my confidence in wearing many hats, you know, starting the new blog and still doing my genealogy and my travel and my day job as a contract auditor and whatever. I'm okay with, you know, there were people that told me, well, you can't do all that stuff and be good. But, you know, they always jack of all trades and, you know, what is the other side of it? Master of none. No, my intention is to be a master, because if it's stuff that I enjoy, I can do it and do it well. And that's what TTR has helped me recognize and cultivate for myself. And then I want to share that with others. So I want to be telling people on our Collaborating Connections page, you know, how this helps, how it has helped me, and what they should consider, you know, when they're juggling multiple things, but wanting to improve their business. You know, why is it valuable to visit? Because I think there's value in a visit. Why is it valuable and beneficial to be a member? We ought to spell that stuff out and be talking about it a lot more often. I know that, you know, our members are busy, but they've got to, you know, they can be master connectors, each and every one of them. It's not that the leader is the only connector. Everybody learns to be a connector and a master at it. And that contributes to their own confidence and how they're seen within their circle. You know, that they are a good connector. People gravitate to those individuals. And that's a benefit of being part of that networking group. So I'm really glad that we had this discussion, and yeah, there was a plan for the call, but as always, we're flexible. And
Well, yeah, it really helped me. I know, and I do that a lot of times, guys, ladies, but you come back, you keep coming back, ladies. And
yeah.
I want it to work out that everybody's getting something. And so thank you for the time. Actually, the questions that Linda Lewis and I've been working on, she was kind of the questions and the answers. The answers that you guys gave were the answers to her questions.
Oh, cool.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like, and that's what I didn't even have them in front of me, but I could kind of in the back of my mind, I'm like, yes, yes, because I'm like, these are the answers. And then Nancy said the whole thing about, and I don't know that I remember you telling me that I'm the one who said to you something about, maybe it's not your client, but they know you're next. I mean, that's great. If I said it, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. But that is got to be something we got to put out there, because that is a big part of this. Why do you meet with these 10 people every week? I mean, in a good group or a good size.
Why do you meet with
3 people? But why do you get with those people if those people, if you're just thinking, oh, there's only 2 or 3 people on the call. You never know who those 3 people have talked to today.
Right.
Or the ideas that they could bring to the table that you hadn't thought of because you're too tired trying to balance all your different hats or juggling your, so thank you. I appreciate that. I know you guys, anyway, yes, we are flexible. Thank you for being flexible. That is one of the best things about these groups for me, is that when I bring even an issue or a question, I know that you guys are going to help me, ladies or men. So thank you.
That feeds right into our November theme of No Rest for the Weary. Why do we show up every week and have these conversations? Because there is value in there. There's benefit in there for those who show up to share and talk and engage and all that. There is. And I've gotten value out of this discussion tonight.
I hope so. Thank you. For me.
Yeah, the other part, while you were talking, I was thinking about, okay, it might have left me that quick.
What were you saying? You forgot it already?
I was gonna say. Oh,
it's not quantity, it's quality.
It is quality.
It is.
I'm gonna post this recording because somebody else out there is going to listen to it and get benefit from it. Oh, this is what networking is about. They're really hashing it out and talking from their perspective and their experience, and they will get some understanding from it. So it's not our routine type of meeting that goes through the agenda of introductions and professional development, or we did mastermind a particular topic of how we progress as an organization and as a group. So hey, congratulations.
Yes, and not but anything. I think exactly what you just said. Thank you, because I truly I want to make sure that nobody thinks we're doing everything right, but I don't think we've done really poorly. We need to refine and define, get a little more clear, and all the things you've shared. You ladies are awesome.
Thank you.
I can't believe this. I feel very good about it. Thank you very much for for being here and being flexible. And hopefully we haven't, although the no rest for the weary, I think the question we've been asking everybody is, what do you do when you need to just rest? How do you do that? And I think part of it is go to a really good networking group meeting, because when you're done, you're kind of like, not that it might get your mind thinking even more, but it also might just give you that kind of like, you know what? They just gave me a bunch of great ideas. I don't have to do this all by myself.
Right.
And yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I do have a list of recommendations for no rest for the weary, though, and I will share those.
Okay, do it.
Okay. This time of year, November, and we're getting towards year end, and it's easy to get caught up and frustrated or whatever. So what do we do to keep persevering? You make a plan to be successful in this last stretch. What is it that still needs to be done, and how am I going to accomplish it? So you make a plan. Number 2, you speak positive affirmations to yourself and your others. Motivate yourself, motivate the people around you. Keep it upbeat, keep it positive. There's no reason why you should feel run down. We've got a holiday season coming up, and it's okay to smile and laugh and, be positive and ride out the rest of the year. Number 3, be grateful. We're coming up on Thanksgiving, and we should sit down and write that list of all the things that we're thankful for, grateful for, all the good stuff that has happened this year, the things that we did accomplish, and still be optimistic about the rest of the year that success is ours. Number 4, take or make your personal space. Sometimes you got to get up and walk away from the project or the work that's right in front of you. Go for a walk. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Take the time to do some type of self-care and kind of regather, refresh your mind, relax your body. Number 5, give, help, teach, and share. There are all kinds of studies that talk about how those actions have positive effects on our physical body and our mental body. So when we're feeling run down, give, help, teach, share. Think about those things, get something done, feel good about yourself, and keep moving forward. Next, use wise time management. Jennifer was saying earlier today about how many actual business days we have left in this year. It's not that many. When you cut out the weekends and you cut out the holidays, we don't really have that many business days left. But recognize how much time we do have and make the best of it. Use wise time management. Next, you recognize that you have the freedom to change your mind, to deviate from the original plan, to renegotiate and maneuver with what you have. It's okay. Be flexible with yourself. And in your mind and in your body, know that it's okay. You can still achieve success. You can still do your best. And there's no reason to laden yourself with guilt or upset or frustration or stress. And the last item that I have on the list is to tidy up or decorate or enjoy some music and just let go. Whoops.
Ooh.
I let go.
And it broke.
Letting go sometimes is exactly what we need to free up our physical and mental space and energies for what really matters. So those are the recommendations that I have when there's no rest for the weary, how to stay motivated, how to maintain some energy and strength to get through the rest of the year or finish up a project. Any thoughts? You're muted, Jennifer.
Yeah, I knew it. Gosh darn it. I put that on because I was making a lot of noise. No, I think that's, how do you turn off everything? And yeah, it's just, there's a lot of people this time of year that are trying very, very hard to to meet certain quotas and stuff. I think that's got to be the hardest. And, we've got a couple members who are literally, we've got one guy who's now becoming not a leadership coach, but he's a leader in a program through his financial, but he's, they're meeting almost every week. It's like, how do you do that when you really do want to just kind of coast to a degree because it's the holidays, enjoy yourself. We all worked hard, but it is, it's finding ways to do that. It's tough. It's tough. But those are all really good ideas. And like we've been watching the election results coming in here, and I'm like, I'm not sure that's exactly relaxing. We were listening to Christmas music while we were, before we were talking to you ladies. And for me, music is a big relaxing thing. It definitely makes a big difference. But, this world throws you so many curveballs, so many things. It's like, oh, how do you do this? So good list.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got something else to share. Along the lines of, I mentioned to the members that, we're in November and Thanksgiving is coming up this month, and community is part of our To the Rescue acronym. So Hearts in Hand Homeless Outreach is a local nonprofit to Indianapolis, Indiana, that I've been connected to, affiliated with for several years. I know the founder, his family, and Spa Travel has donated little toiletry bags and items to the organization for the homeless in the past. But they are going to be doing a Thanksgiving dinner on November 20th, and they are in need of volunteers to assist with creating the dinners. They need donations of food, donations of money. Hearts in Hand Homeless Outreach has a Facebook page. So I'm going to share that with our group. So, however you may find it in your heart to help, that was one of those recommendations we had to the give, help, teach, and share. However you may find it within your means to help and contribute to this very worthy organization, I would love for you to consider it. Now, I want to read the story that is posted on their page, or this information that's posted on their page too, and it kind of just makes you think about things. It says, years ago, anthropologist Margaret Mead was asked by a student what she considered to be the first sign of civilization in a culture. The student expected Mead to talk about fish hooks or clay pots or grinding stones, but no. Mead said that the first sign of civilization in an ancient culture was a femur, a thigh bone, that had been broken and then healed. Mead explained that in the animal kingdom, if you break your leg, you die. You cannot run from danger, get to the river for a drink, or hunt for food. You are meat for prowling beasts. No animal survives a broken leg long enough for the bone to heal. A broken femur that has healed is evidence that someone has taken time to stay with the one who fell and has bound up the wound, has carried the person to safety, and has tended the person through recovery. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts, Mead says. So, while we're high anxieties over today's voting, while we are challenged with our current economy, while we are at odds coming up on holiday season sometimes, we are at our best when we serve others. So be civilized. Then someone adds, I love Margaret Mead, one of my favorites. Helping someone else through difficulty is where civilization starts. Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, for indeed, that's all who ever have. So that's kind of the food for thought that I wanted to put out there, not only, you know, on this call, but to whoever may be listening to it. As we approach the holiday season, as we endeavor through our own situations and our own businesses, to let's be civilized. Let's consider others. Let's try to do good. Let's stay optimistic, and let's make a positive difference. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Well,
No, I'm muted again. So there you go. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
are welcome. Be sure to check out Hearts and Hand Homeless Rescue on Facebook, everybody. And I will post links for donation and just links to stay connected with those in need. Not only in our TTR's cares, but in our collaborating connections, and to whomever my voice may reach this evening via recording. Just remember, everybody, stay civilized and make this life your best life always. I hope everyone has a wonderfully prosperous and productive rest of the week, and we'll look forward to seeing you and other visitors next week, because we're going to keep doing this thing that we're doing, that we believe in, that brings value. Take care, everyone, and have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Take
Bye,
care.
ladies. Be safe, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.